Hey guys, Jack here, and today's video is going to talk about something that's really, really important, particularly for people in relationships. And it's the difference between being aggressive and being assertive. Now, often people get these two terms mixed up, but there is a difference between them, and I really want to explain what they are and how and why it's so important. So, first things first, I just want to clarify that being aggressive is not always bad. Within competitive fields, within business, sports, etc., having an element of aggression is really important for men. But when it comes to relationships and more collaborative endeavors, you don't want to be aggressive because it can have completely the wrong tone. However, men must be leaders within the relationship, and sometimes leading means saying no. It's creating boundaries. It's making sure that you hold firm in order to do the right thing for what is right for your family, what is right for your wife, your girlfriend, whoever it might be. And the way that you communicate these has to be assertive, because if it's not assertive, you're going to get pushback. You're going to get to the point where your respect is going to be challenged. You're not going to be respected. Your authority is going to be challenged. But the way you do this really, really does matter, and that's kind of the difference between aggression and assertiveness in this context. Ultimately, it's communication style. It's how you communicate. It's why you're communicating it in a certain way as well. Because the real core difference between being aggressive and being assertive within a relationship is intention. What do I mean by that? Well, often when someone acts aggressively, maybe their partner does something they don't like, their wife does something they don't like, and they respond very aggressively, telling them, no, you can't do this. Often that comes from an element of insecurity. It's the man doesn't like, or the woman, they can also be aggressive. The man doesn't like what his wife is doing because it makes him feel insecure, makes him feel bad, and therefore he tells her, no, you can't do it. So essentially what he's doing is he's putting his needs above her needs. Now there is a difference here between being assertive. Now, if you are assertive, you're normally coming from a position of security. You may say no to the exact same thing, and I'll give an example of this in a moment. But you're saying it not because you feel insecure, but because you think that it's the wrong thing to do for X, Y, Z reasons. And an assertive communication style and an assertive decision, an assertive leadership style will balance his needs, your needs, with their needs. Okay, he will balance the two, not just be from what he wants. Okay, and that's the core difference. It's the intention, and therefore the way that you communicate saying no, because you need to say no. You need to have boundaries in a relationship. So let's have an example of this. A very common example of boundaries that come up within a relationship is when a man doesn't want his girlfriend, his wife, to go see other men, even as in a friendly role. He doesn't want her to be seen alone, maybe having a dinner or having a coffee with another man. And I think it's a very reasonable boundary to say that this is unacceptable. Now, an aggressive style might say, no, you just can't do that. It's not right. I don't want you to do it. And the reason that the man will come across aggressively in this sense is because he feels insecure about the fact that she is going to meet other men. He worries that she is going to cheat, and it makes him feel insecure. And therefore he says no, and he says it aggressively, and he shuts down the debate. He shuts down the discussion between the two. Whereas an assertive communication style, he might also not like the fact that she's going to meet men, but he understands that the reason why she shouldn't meet men is nothing to do with her cheating. He still trusts her. It's about the fidelity of the relationship. It's about whether or not it is a respectful thing to do to their relationship as a whole. For example, he might articulate that if you are on a date, but you are meeting this guy for lunch, and yeah, it may just be a friendly thing. It's an old friend, nothing harmful about it. But what if one of your friends goes to the same restaurant and sees you alone with this man? And he therefore will potentially think, oh, she's cheating on him. You know, she's spending time alone with this other man. He doesn't know the context of the situation because it's ambiguous and can be definitely interpreted in that light. So when she goes to meet this friend, she is not being respectful to the relationship as a whole. It looks bad on her. It looks bad on him. It looks bad on their marriage, their relationship, whatever it might be. So therefore, he's articulating the fact that his needs and her needs are both hurt by this action. And it's coming from a place of security, and he's doing it in a way that makes sense. It's a way that makes her feel, yeah, right, you're right, actually. I don't want people to think bad about me. I don't want people to think badly about our relationship. I did want to meet this guy, but you're right. Actually, the needs of the relationship supersedes my needs to meet my friend. So both of you are therefore merging your needs. And this is another concept that I've come to, that I'll probably articulate in another video, the importance of a combined ego when it comes to marriage. And I'll probably do another video on that in the future. So I want to tell a little story about this where one of my clients actually had this issue. He was not communicating in the right way, and it was causing problems within his relationship. Every time his wife would do something that he was not, it was actually his girlfriend, not his wife. Every time his girlfriend did something that he was not so keen on, he would very aggressively shut it down. He would say, no, you can't do this, and would never give an explanation. And obviously it was causing a lot of friction between him and his girlfriend, started pulling them apart, started pushing them away, and they were arguing a lot more, and there was a lot of different, downstream effects of his communication style. And it did, I'll be honest, it came from a position of insecurity on his part. So when we worked together, we dug under what's causing this. Why do you feel insecure? What's the actual problem here? And then we talked about how to really set up what I call moral fences, which are these things where the two of you decide we're not going to do these things because we want to put this fence, this boundary around our relationship to stop us doing the wrong thing. An example is the example I just gave about not meeting members of the other sex on your own. So we worked on that. We also did some deep work into his psychology of how he viewed himself and began to teach him to love himself more as well. It's often a core issue. And eventually his communication style got a lot better. He began to lead in a better way, properly lead rather than just dictate. His emotional communication got a lot better because a key behind this is also being able to touch women's emotions when you're communicating so that they feel understood, they feel like you empathize with their position, but you have your own view, you're a leader and think that this is better and I want to guide you in this direction. Now he's able to communicate his needs in a much better way. His relationship's on a much better fitting with his wife, his girlfriend. They are both happier. They are both in a much better position to be able to go forward and potentially get married in the future. And they're arguing a lot less as well, which is great. So this is a really key distinction that a lot of men get wrong. I think it's not talked about enough in our sphere where we do value the importance of masculinity and leadership, but we never talk about leadership styles. We never talk about how a man is supposed to lead. And this is one way that's really, really important for men to lead. They've got to lead by being assertive, still saying no, still being strong, but it's not got to be an aggressive style. And it has to balance the needs of both him and also his girlfriend. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something from it. And I'll see you next time. Jack out.